So over these past few years as a composer and just learning composition in general, it's fun to look back at some of the earlier works you produced and things you've composed in the past and see where your roots were and how much you've improved over time. And so I decided to take a look at one of the earliest pieces that I've ever written for solo piano, and I kind of want to examine it and see kind of what I did wrong, what things I can improve, and just have a few laughs along the way. So yeah, it's just cool to see how much I've improved, and in just a few short years I've gotten to a level where you can't even tell that I've been writing for only like 3 or 4 years. So I hope you find this entertaining, and also you get some learning experience out of the things I discuss in the analysis, and just enjoy. It's going to be a great time. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be kind of interesting. I have a score in front of me on the computer, and I'll be sharing the screen as I go. But this is technically my first ever composition that I wrote. It is for solo piano, as most beginners like to start out with, which is always fun. And I'm basically going to be critiquing it, suggesting what I should have done differently, some mistakes that I see and things to make it improve. And this is all in the hopes that whoever's watching this, if you're also beginning composing, you can see things that don't really work and things that are kind of difficult to execute in real life. And hopefully this all ends up being a learning experience for everyone, and we can also have some laughs along the way. I remember this being one of the first pieces I ever wrote, trying to actually be a composer, and some of you might be surprised that this was only 3 years ago, and I've improved so much. Since then I've decided to major in music composition in college, and ultimately try to pursue it as a career as a composer. So yeah, a lot has come from this piece. I've improved so much. I've been on a long journey thus far, and it all started from a piece like this. So yeah, I'll just share the entire piece as I react to it live, and yeah, you can skip to the timestamp on the screen if you want to get past the piece to the actual analysis and what I roast about it. But I suggest you listen to the actual piece so you can actually understand why and what I'm critiquing. 3, 2, 1. Very rhythmic in the bass. Fermata. Okay, like a little interlude. Hey, time change. Those rests in the soprano, in the treble voice. Alright, well that's pretty difficult. And I remember writing this, like I almost remember this entire song like verbatim in my head, because of course I wrote it, but it's so sentimental even though it's pretty awful. Okay, here's like a B theme, a semblance of a new theme, which is cool. Okay, getting back into the rhythmic part. I really like my syncopation in the bass. It's kind of drives. We repeat. I'm really not afraid of time changes with the time signature. I go all over the place, as you'll see coming up. Oh my goodness, look what's coming up. Oh my gosh, 6/4. Alright, last section. I kinda like it. It's very strange, very weirdly written. Triple it. Da 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 da. Very symphony-like at the end. All right. Well, that was something. It was quite a piece. A lot of things that I like, a lot of things that I don't like. Probably more things that I don't like, really. but it's cool to see how far I've come, and a lot of the things that I do today in my own writing, it kind of carried over, and there's some elements in this piece that I still use today, but I just kind of want to cover things that beginners fall into, and mainly this comes down to idiomatic writing. And idiomatic writing is basically writing comfortably for a certain instrument. Everything is comfortable to play. The ranges are suitable for the instrument, and just things like that. So for example, let's take a piano writing, for example. Some non-idiomatic things that I use are these big 16th runs in the left hand. 16th notes are fine in the left hand, but you just got to think about how you're gonna finger it, if it's comfortable. You have to see if you have to shift your hand in different positions. So there's a lot of moments there where it doesn't fit. But yeah, so in the beginning, I like this little fanfare like A flat thing in the right hand, so it's like. And one thing I do want to change is some voice leading things. So something that I hear in my head as something I could change is in my thumb. So instead of going, so we should go to the B flat instead of the A flat at the end. So, and it'd be a perfect way to just repeat that. So voice leading is something that I wasn't even aware of, I don't think, at this stage. And I think that's something we could use to improve it. The left hand is fine. I like how so we're shifting between the 1 and the 4 chord here, and it's not terrible to play. It's just you have to probably use some pedal to make sure you make that legato if you want it, or yeah, it just can be a little bit of a stretch, but I'm sure a skilled pianist or even an intermediate one should be able to play it fine. So in bar 3 we get the main melody, which is, kind of stumbled there, but yeah, I like the melody. I don't think we should change it. The only thing I say we should change is there's some like harmonic things that we do in the right hand as well, so it's like it makes it very tricky. We can add some tasteful harmonic choices there, but for the most part I think it makes it a little more difficult to play, so I think we should just keep the melody without having these little things to harmonize it. Especially in the beginning, we're kind of just introducing the theme. We don't want to have anything that makes it too complicated. From that point, we kind of just move away from that melody. So something that I struggled with is knowing when to develop a melody. And when we introduce something, especially earlier in my composing journey, I just kind of stated the melody and just kind of moved on to the next thing. I've always been trying to get to the next section, and it's very important to try to pause and breathe for a moment and try to develop the melody and allow it, give it some room to breathe too. And as Adam Neely or David Bruce would say, repetition legitimizes. Repetition legitimizes. Repetition legitimizes. So yeah, repeating things over and over again will kind of give you that sense of, this is important. So just repeating the melody here for looks like 2 measures is definitely not enough to give it the importance it deserves. So after this fermato, we go into this little development section, or maybe I don't even know what this is. We maintain that rhythmic feature in the bass, which is, I really like this. The bass, it's very cool. I don't have any qualms with it. I think we should keep it and kind of use it and put it at the forefront because it distinguishes the piece from, it just distinguishes the piece and makes it kind of important and a little more unique there. So I think we should exploit that more, but there are some sections where we might want to tone it down just for the sanity of the pianist in case things get a little too rhythmically interesting, but I don't have any qualms with that. But what I do is, before the 6/8 here, we have this measure of these running 16th notes in the left hand. This doesn't look too bad, but there are sections I noticed later in the piece where the left hand is doing some crazy arpeggiations in the left hand with 16th notes, which by itself isn't a bad thing. It's just in this key you have to be very aware of the fingerings and hand placement, And that's what's really helpful for writing a piano piece, is actually sitting down and running through the music yourself. Even if you're not a pianist, try to finger it along really slowly, just note by note, to see if it's comfortable, if you don't have to make any insane jumps, and that's really important here. So let me just try to give it a go in this measure with the left hand. Let's see. It's fine, but it's just a little awkward, so just watch out for that. Alright, now we're going to 6/8, so it looks like I'm not very afraid of time changes here. We went from the simple quadruple 4/4 to the compound duple 6/8, but the thing is, I didn't really understand what compound meters do. This doesn't really suit that. I should have stayed in some kind of simple meter or something, because so just for our beginners out there, this compound duple meter 6/8 is usually divided into groups of 3/8 notes, and here it just doesn't really make sense to have this. This would have been better if I used like if I could have stayed in 4/4 or something, just something that's or 3/4 maybe, but this is just very uncomfortable, and it would just make no sense. So this just comes with time and studying pieces, and even music theory can help with this. So yeah, I would have taken out the 6/8 section, because it gets a little a little uncomfortable. So we're going into the sextuplet run in the left hand. This is one thing that is not very idiomatic, especially in the left hand. This is extremely uncomfortable. What is that, A flat? So let me just go really slowly. Okay, it's not terrible. It's just A flat arpeggio descending, but at this tempo, it's like it's super fast. It's just, and we're going right into that rhythmic thing that is asking for trouble. So be very aware of these things. That just seems a little too difficult for this speed. Alright, okay, looks like we have the melody introduced again. It looks like it's copy and pasted introduced, so beware of copy and paste. I wouldn't use it. I use it sparingly for things that are supposed to be really repeated. But if we're introducing a melody, maybe we could have developed it a little bit more, maybe changed some things, maybe spiced up the harmony under it, or maybe rhythmically we could have done something that's a little bit different. Just altering the melody or the material just slightly will give it that nuance. And here I notice that it's literally just copied and pasted from the beginning, just like before. Exactly the same. So I wish I could have developed that a little bit more. And after that we repeat the A section. We're going into this new B theme. It's kind of this nice little quiet little theme. I can imagine this in like a Pokemon game or something. It's what we needed. We had a lot of busy things going on, and this allows us to have a little bit more room to breathe. So it goes sorry. So after botching that, yeah, I like it. We should get a little bit more of it though. Just like I mentioned before, this B theme should have definitely been developed. Add like maybe 16 measures more. This is just 5 measures. Yeah, we could have had way more of this B theme to add that contrast, because we have all this busy 16th note business happening, and this is kind of like the quiet reserve section and peaceful thing that we should have to contrast it, obviously. So I definitely think we should have had a little bit longer section here, and then we go straight back into, after repeat, we go straight back into back into that fast section, and we have this thing in the left hand, or in the right hand. It goes. That doesn't really serve any purpose. I don't think we should have kept it in there. We should have brought back the melody in an even more nuanced way. Like I mentioned, we could have changed the harmony below it. We could have changed the rhythmic part. We could have had fragments of the melody, just like something to hint towards what we had in the beginning in that material. Here it's just kind of like, you know, we're in A flat, let's just play whatever. It's like improvised. I don't like that. We should have had something that unified it a little bit more. This is where things really break down. It sounds kind of cool in the playback, but realistically this is like horribly written. So we have this 2/4. It's kind of our pickup into this big tremolo in the left hand into the climax of the piece, which is the full melody in 6/4 time. So notation wise, here's what we should have done in the left hand instead of going D flat. There's a better way to notate this instead of having all this stuff. It's a tremolo, so basically you have the D flat notes and then you have 3 lines in between them. I'll put it on the screen just to show you what it would look like. This saves you ink, and you never would see it like this. You could, but it's much more efficient to use the tremolo markings. And then the left hand is doing some ascending chromatic scale or something. It goes like okay, this is some weird scale. This is not even chromatic. I don't even know what that is. I probably used some really ancient scale from I don't even know. So if you if you want to analyze that and leave that in the comments of what scale that is, I have no idea. But that's interesting. I don't even know why I did that. But anyways, we make it to the climax. We have the grand melody and a key change, mind you. So it's, oops. It's kind of the melody. It's a little more altered. We should have made it a little more similar to what we had before, but it's like. So some fun things going on there. If we look at that left hand though, that is that's tough. You're jumping from the low. That's gonna require a lot of practice there. I would simplify that. Maybe make the first G's there, the first 2 beats 1 and the end of 1. Just hold that as a quarter note, and then kind of like a ragtime thing. You go like, it's like you hold it and then you go to the next one. Here it's just kind of, we don't want to fill every beat there, especially in the left hand. That's just asking for trouble, and yeah, we don't want that, especially at this level. Yeah, then we have some interesting harmonies in this section, like da, da, da. So that sounds fun. Then we have the triplets in the left hand, which I think I'm all for. It's something a little bit different. The rhythmic parts, we kind of repeat it. And then we kind of end. Okay, we have 3-2. Didn't see that coming. 3-2 is basically 3 half notes in there, but I don't know if it fits very well in here. We have a little 2-2, and then we go into this kind of symphony ending, timpani, boom, like tonic to dum. Love it. I don't think it fits well in this song, but I want to be very dramatic, and then the right hand is kind of going. Yeah, it's definitely like the end of a big symphony, and we have this very dramatic boom, boom, boom. I'm a fan of drama, so that's definitely, I definitely see where that was from. So yeah, that's the whole piece. You can see the types of mistakes I made just 3 years ago, and it's very fun to write things like this. I don't take this as like music you write when you start is going to be trash. Well, if you continue, you'll obviously see that there's things that you improve on over time. But yeah, it's just fun to look back on my roots and see where I came from. And again, if you're surprised that this is just 3 years ago and I'm trying to pursue music seriously now, yeah, it's just a sign that you should, if you're interested in composing, you don't have to, you know, spend 10 years of your life trying to get to a level where people will like your music. It only takes a few years, and then from there on, you just improve every single time. So yeah, just keep on trying, and if you're interested in composition, definitely go for it. And you can just see how much I've improved if you've seen some of my music. It's just worlds different than this. And yeah, so if you want to learn how to compose and the journey of a composer, then you can go ahead and check out my channel, which I have videos all about, especially my composing career playlist, which has videos on how to be a composer and the business side of it, and things like that. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that playlist out after this one. But anyways, thanks for watching, and keep writing.